Hey everyone, so this week we are focusing on lateral area and surface area of cones, and that's it. Okay, so let's get started. So, this warm-up, either you can pause it and try to do it for yourself. It's all stuff that you've learned before, so you could try it or just keep following along. This says, what is the word used to describe the distance around a circle? So that was circumference, if you don't remember. Circumference. Okay. And then number 2 says, what is the formula for the circumference of a circle? And that was, if you didn't remember, 2 pi r, right? So 2 times pi times whatever the radius of your circle was. And then what is the formula for area of the circle, right? Because that was a different thing. It's a different formula. Area of the circle would be pi r squared. So whatever your radius is squared, and then multiply that by pi. Okay, so that was a little refresher. This says, if a circle has a radius of 14 centimeters, find the exact circumference and the exact area. So remember that word exact just means that you're not going to type pi into the calculator. You're going to type everything else in the calculator and then just attach the pi to your answer, right? That keeps it exact and it keeps us from having it being a rounded answer. So let's find both. The circumference, the circumference, 2 pi times the radius, which is 14. So remember, do not type the pi in there because we want exact answers. So 2 times 14, that's 28. Attach the pi and then centimeters, and we're done, right? It's not area or anything like that, so you don't have to put the squared. So just 28 pi centimeters, that's our answer. And then we want to find the exact area as well. So you would say pi r squared. So in this case, again, still don't type the pi in the calculator. Do 14 squared, which is 196 pi centimeters. And this time we are talking about area, so you would want to put centimeters squared, right? Okay, so hopefully that refreshed your memory about that stuff. So something else to recall is that are these formulas for pyramids. Last week and then the week before break, even we were talking about lateral area, surface area, and volume of pyramids. The lateral area and surface area formulas for a cone are kind of similar, so that's why we're referencing them. Here was lateral area for pyramids, and here was surface area for pyramids. So lateral area, 1/2 times P. Remember that capital P means perimeter of the base. And then that cursive L means slant height. And remember, slant height is just exactly what it sounds like it is. It's the height on the pyramid that's slanted, not the straight up and down height, the height that's kind of more diagonal. And then surface area for a pyramid was the lateral area that you just found plus whatever the area of the base is. Okay? So the reason we're referencing that is because a cone can be thought of as a pyramid with a circular base, right? Oh, goodness. With a circular base. They kind of look the same. It's just the base of a cone is a circle instead of a square or hexagon or whatever else kind of pyramids we were working with. So therefore, since a circle has circumference instead of perimeter, right, we wouldn't say the perimeter of a circle. That doesn't make sense. We always say circumference. We can replace that P with the circumference formula to derive the formula for the lateral area of a cone. So let's do that in the space here. So for a cone, right, so for lateral area, instead of saying 1/2 times P times cursive L, we would say 1/2 times 2 pi r times the cursive L, right? But notice this says be sure to simplify. That's because what happens when you divide and multiply by the same number? Notice we're really dividing and multiplying by 2, right? Multiplying by 2, multiplying 1/2, that's the same thing as dividing by 2. Those two operations would cancel each other out. And so what you're actually left with is pi r L. So pi times the radius of the circle times the slant height of the cone. Okay, here is our lateral area of a cone formula. And then for this one, it says, similarly, since the base of a cone will always be a circle, we can replace that b in the surface area formula with the area of a circle formula. So the surface area is still going to be lateral area plus, now instead of just saying capital B as a general, since for pyramids the shape of the base can change, so that means the area of the base formula will change. But if it's always going to be a circle for cones, we can just say pi r squared, right? Because that's always the formula for area of a circle. So now we have our lateral area and surface area formulas for cones. Okay, so let's use those in these examples down here. So we want to find both the exact and rounded lateral area and surface area. Okay. So let's do lateral area first. Remember that is, pi RL, right? Pi times the radius times the slant height. So that would be pi, the radius of the circle, you can see that's the base down there, right? That's 4. And then the slant height is right here, and it tells us that that's 13. So 4 times 13 is 52 pi, and so we're in centimeters, and it's area, so you say squared. Okay, 52 pi centimeters squared. That's the exact, so put that down here. And then remember, all you do if you want to go from exact to rounded, you just type the pi in the calculator. So 52 pi, and round to the nearest hundredth. It doesn't say, but we can just do that. 163.36 centimeters squared. Okay? So that was lateral area. And now we can do surface area. So remember, that's lateral area plus pi r squared. So remember, we just found that was 52 pi. That's the lateral area, plus the radius is 4 squared. So let's simplify this. That would be 52 pi plus 16 pi, right? 4 squared is 16. So remember, these act like terms. Remember, so just do 52 plus 16, which is 68. Throw a pi on there in the answer. We're in centimeters squared, and we're done. Right? So the exact area, exact surface area is 68 pi centimeters squared. And if we want to find what that is rounded, just do 68 pi in your calculator, and that's 213.63, right? It's 628, so that 8 would make that 2, round up to a 3, centimeters squared. Okay, and before we move on to the next example, I just want to remind you what lateral area and surface area are. Lateral area, remember, is just for a cone, that would be just the area of like the sides of it, right? Not including that circular base. And then surface area is the area of all the sides, right? All the way around the cone, and then also with the circular base added. So just to remind you of that part. Okay, let's move on to the next example. Here we have another cone. Let's find the lateral area first. Remember, that's pi times the radius times the slant height. So we have pi, the radius in this one is 5, right? Because the radius is halfway across the circle. The slant height. If you look here, does this give us the slant height? The slant height would be right here. It doesn't, right? But it does give us, if you notice, you can see here a right triangle. So you should hopefully know by now, what do you do if you have a right triangle like this? You have two sides of it and you need the third side. Just do Pythagorean theorem, right? So let's do that off to the side here. So we would have the two legs are 12 squared and 5 squared, and what we're looking for is the hypotenuse, so just leave that be C. So this is 144 plus 25. So that is 169. Take the square root of both sides. So C would equal 13. So again, like, that's not your final answer for anything, right? That just means that the slant height is 13. So we can go ahead and now plug that in here. We just found that it's 13. So again, if we just want the exact, just do the 5 times 13, which is 65. Pi, we're in centimeters squared. Okay, so put that in the exact part, 65 pi centimeters squared, and to find out what that is rounded, type 65 pi in your calculator, and that's 204.20 centimeters squared. Okay, so just that one extra step in this problem of if it doesn't give you the slant height, then you got to do Pythagorean theorem to get it. Okay, Pythagorean theorem is something you guys have been doing for a while now, so hopefully you're okay with that. So now let's find surface area. So surface area is the lateral area plus pi r squared, the area of the base, which is a circle. So we just found that the lateral area was 65 pi, and then this would be pi, the radius is 5 squared. So that is 65 pi plus 5 squared is 25, so 25 pi. Okay, so remember, treat those like terms. Just add those two together. So that would be 90 pi centimeters squared. That's the exact answer. Type 90 pi in the calculator for a rounded answer, which would be 282.74 centimeters squared. Sorry, I'm going to fix that because that looked ugly. 282.74. Okay. If either of those were too fast for you, you could either rewatch them or, yeah, go back and watch it again, or either what was I gonna say? Yeah, just watch it at a slower pace if it's going too fast. Okay, if you want, you can pause it and then try these last two, C and D, for yourself. And then watch it and see if you got the answers right, or just keep watching along. Okay, so here we have a cone, and don't be confused about cones on its side or upside down cones or anything like that, right? All the rules still apply. So for lateral area, we have pi r l, remember. So the radius is 7, right? From here to here, that's the radius. That would be 7. The slant height, again, we don't have. That would be that right there, and we don't have that. But what we do have is a right triangle. Again, same thing. We just have to do Pythagorean theorem, right, to get that slant height. So let's do that. We have the two legs, 7 squared and 15 squared. We don't have the hypotenuse, so leave that as C squared. 49 plus 225. Okay, so that's 274. Take the square root of both sides. sorry, square root of 274. That would be 16.55. Okay, not a nice number, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. This slant height is 16.55 then. That's what that means. So now we found what to put here. Okay, so goodness gracious, sorry, I'm having issues. Okay, so let's type this in our calculator. Just do the 7 times 16.55. That is 115.85 pi centimeters squared. That's the exact answer. So that goes here, 115.85 pi centimeters squared. Then type it with the pi in the calculator, 115.85 pi in the calculator, and that is 363.95 centimeters squared. Oh my goodness. Why is that happening? Goodness gracious. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Okay. So now let's do surface area. And that is the lateral area that we just found plus pi r squared. So we just found that that's 115.85 pi. Oh. Plus pi, the radius is 7 squared. So that's 115.85 pi plus 49 pi, right? Because 7 squared is 49. So when you combine those, 115.85 plus 49, that's 164.85 pi centimeters squared. This is kind of an ugly problem, but that's okay. Those same rules still apply. 164.85 pi centimeters squared. Then to figure out what that is as a rounded answer, 164.85 pi would be 517.89 centimeters squared. Okay? Again, even if you have decimals, that's okay. Still just don't let it scare you. Just keep going the way that you would do all the problems. Okay? And then lastly, it says R is 10, so down here the radius is 10. And then the slant height, it doesn't say it on the diagram, but it says it here that it's 26. Okay? So for the lateral area, remember pi times the radius times the slant height. Pi, the radius is 10, the slant height is 26. So that's 260 pi. Doesn't give us units, so let's just say units squared. So the exact answer is 260. You know what? Hold on, let me redo this. I have to zoom in or else my handwriting is terrible. 260 pi units squared. Okay, and to figure out what that is as rounded, just type in your calculator 260 pi. That is 816.81 units squared. Why does it keep doing that? It's so weird. My notability is freaking out. Okay. Let's get through one more part. Okay, and then, so that's lateral area, and then for surface area, Remember, it's the lateral area plus pi r squared. So we just found the lateral area is 260 pi. And then pi, the radius is 10 squared. So that is 260 pi plus 100 pi. So that would be 360 pi units squared for the surface area. So that's the exact answer. 360 pi units squared. And then for the rounded answer, that would be 1130.97 units squared. Okay, so that is it for the lesson. All you need to do is do the homework 8, do the quizzes that goes with lateral area and surface area of cones, and you are done for the whole week. As always, let us know if you have any questions or need anything, and we will talk to you later. Bye.